Welcome to Take It Lightly, the show where you honestly shouldn't take anything we say seriously. My name is Tyler. I'm here with my good friend Ian. Hello, Ian. How are you doing?
What's poppin', Tyler? How's everybody doing today?
I'm tired as heck, man. I slept almost not at all.
Well, thankfully I did the complete opposite. I slept great, took like
I,
a 5-hour power nap today,
at
and
least
now I'm
one of us,
juiced.
at least one of us got some sleep. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, welcome to episode 1 of our podcast show, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Something that has been in the works for a while. We've talked about this since what, like early this year, probably even before that.
And I think we
And we were
had the
just
idea
saying,
like last year, or the year before, maybe even when I visited you a couple years ago.
yeah, we just kept saying like, all right, we'll do this.
This
We'll
is
we'll
yeah.
hammer it out.
This
We'll hammer it out, and
this is our year, cowboy
th-
style.
this is this is our year. Here we go.
Yeah. So we're just gonna little introduction, I guess. We're just gonna be talking about on the main this on this uh episode is gonna be uh strictly NFL talk since the season starts this week. We're recording this on Wednesday, September 4th, which is the day before the season starts. The goal is to record these every week, sometime in between the end of Monday Night Football and the beginning of Thursday Night Football. Um, I guess we should just introduce ourselves. Ian, do you want to go first?
Of course, I'll go first. My name's Ian. I'm probably the greatest to ever live type shit. But if you couldn't guess, the Take It Lightly name comes from my side of the banter, most likely. I am definitely the toxic one, the extremely toxic one.
Yeah.
Uh, when it comes to my favorite sports teams, we'll go through all of them because while this episode and the main weekly episodes will hopefully be focused on football throughout the football season, we both love all the major sports here. Like we
Mm-hmm.
we watch all of them pretty consistently, and
Yeah.
right now we're just and winding down baseball season, getting ready for the playoffs, moving into college football and NFL football, and we have hockey and basketball starting in about a month and a half.
Yep.
So we'll as of right now, we're just focused in week one NFL, but
Yeah.
we do like all of these sports. But
Yeah.
let me give you my rundown. I am from right outside of Washington, D.C., so all of my favorite sports teams revolve around D.C. Washington for football, except the Ravens are my favorite team. Washington is always going to be number two for me there, but Washington, Baltimore. For hockey, I'm a huge Capitals fan. For basketball, I'm a Wizards fan and a LeBron James fan. I'm a LeBron sexual, can't help myself. And for baseball, I'm a Nats fan. Boo the Orioles. Orioles stink. Crappy birds. But yeah, those are my teams. I will ride or die for them any day of the week. I'm saying every year the Ravens are 17-0, the Capitals are 82-0, just like the Wizards, and I can't remember exactly how many games in a baseball season, but the
162.
Nationals exactly. It's exactly how many wins the Washington Nationals will have under their docket next year. So that's a little bit about me.
I
I'll
mean,
throw it
with
back
with
over to you,
with
Sweetums.
with Dylan Cruz coming up to the show, they're gonna be nice for in the future.
He's actually like I went to the game earlier this last week where they played the Yankees and he got his first hit and that was exciting.
I watched that. I was watching it. I saw it happen. It was really
Same.
cool. Yeah. So I'm Tyler. I am based in the Minneapolis area, right outside the Twin Cities. I'm from Indiana. I was born there. I've lived about half my life in each area. So for me, I am a huge fan of the Indiana Pacers. And I have said for many years that if I could only pick one team to watch for the rest of my life, it would be them. Um, Otherwise, I'm super into football and baseball as well. Hockey, not so much. Although Minnesota's a big hockey state, I want to get into it this year. I have jokingly pledged my allegiance to the Nashville Predators, much to the chagrin of my close friends who are big fans of the Wild.
Which
Uh,
is also diabolical that he decides to say it this year, just as they sign every good free you want a multiple time Rocket Richard winner, Steven Stamkos. You want one of the key pieces to the Vegas Knights winning the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup, Jonathan Marchessault. I'm just like, okay, brother, yeah, go ahead,
In
choose your
my
time
in my
now.
defense, back in 2015, I posted that I liked the Predators, so
Which he did. He sent me the screenshot of it. So
that is out there.
you
That
know,
is a true thing.
beggars can't be choosers, but of course he has to say it.
But I will pick basketball over hockey if they're both on at the same time. So, um, and then for baseball, I'm a fan of the Minnesota Twins. I'm a season ticket holder for the Twins. So if you live in Minneapolis area, catch me at the next Twins game probably.
Catch me outside. How about that?
How about that? And then we don't need to talk about my NFL allegiance. I am definitely not a fan of the Las Vegas Raiders because I hate my life. All right. But that's about us.
I think also we should say that we have for the most part a very mutual understanding that we also root for each other's teams very often.
Yeah.
Like
except for next week, I will be rooting for the Ravens and he will be rooting for the Raiders. Next week
that's exactly right.
Yeah, the Ravens and Raiders play each other in week 2. And spoiler alert, I don't think the Raiders are going to win that game.
Did you purposely put us backwards when you said that?
What?
You said I as in me will be rooting for the Raiders and you'll be rooting for the Ravens. Did you do that purposefully?
But except for when they play each other, yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
We're not playing each other, you'll root for the Raiders for me, and I'll root for the Ravens for you. Yeah.
Yes. And also, like my second favorite NBA team is 100% the Pacers. I've been a bandwagon from thanks to Tyler Pacers fan since like 2012. So
when they were
appreciate
good.
you. And I
When
like
they
the
were good.
Twins. Thank you, Tyler, for letting me root for a good baseball team.
Yeah. I will say I do root for the Nationals for you. I don't know if they're in my top 3 favorite teams, but I do root for them. I think all my favorite teams are all American League teams, the Mariners and the Twins for sure. But as long as you don't root for the Dodgers or the Yankees, I don't really care who you root for. Or the Astros.
The Trash Stros.
Yeah. And then I am my second team are the Minnesota Timberwolves, because I live in Minnesota, but I do root for the Wizards, except for the 3 or 4 games they play against the Pacers every year. Yeah.
Which
So
of course the Wizards always dominate type shit.
yeah, strangely. Pacers can't beat them for at least, or like they play them close, and I'm like, we should be blowing these guys out. Anyway, that's not
It's so funny because up until last year, we had both had some of the worst defenses in the league. It would literally be like 150 to 150.
Pacers still have a terrible defense, but
So do we. But we fixed that. Alexander Sarr. Go ahead.
Pacers defense got better after the All-Star break. Okay, but we're not here to talk about that. Today we're talking about the NFL season, the best time of the year, baby.
Oh my God, dude! It's starting to get cool outside too. You know, it is football weather, brother.
It's 85.
It is time.
It's 85.
Wait. Oh, dude, it was like 73 degrees here today.
No, what? It was, yeah, it is. It's hot. Well, today it's not so hot. Yesterday it was 85. Today it's 81. So I was close. Yeah, so we're going to start the segment here by just making our division, like our division winners, our playoff predictions, our Super Bowl predictions, and then if we want to throw in bonus predictions, we can do that. We're just going to kind of play that part by ear. So we're just going to go division by division. You cool with that, Ian?
Sounds great to me. I also did put down my wild cards.
Yeah, I have a list of my playoff teams as well. So
amazing. All right, I will. You read it, and let's speak on it.
Yeah. So there are going to be hot takes on both sides here. Ian's going to say a lot of outlandish stuff, but I think in terms of like our picks and the teams we believe in, there's going to be some hot takes here.
I agree.
So let's just start in the East for both conferences. Let's start out with something pretty easy, I think. Let's do the AFC East first.
The AFC East?
The AFC East. Let's go worst to first.
Worst to first. Okay, brother. I had the division winners ready, but also I don't know if we're going to agree on this.
Okay. How about since I have them listed in order of where I think they're going to place, I'll start each division, and we can just see if we at least agree on the division winner.
Okay.
And then if you feel like a placement's weird, we can discuss it a little bit.
All right. Shoot.
Okay.
Worst to best.
Well, obviously the worst in the AFC East is going to be the New England Patriots.
Yes. That.
um,
Yes.
I do.
But I'm super high on the receiver they drafted. Polk. Super high on him.
Ramondre Stevenson's good. Jacoby Brissett's a solid. He's not great, but he's solid.
He's playing up until week 6 at most.
Yeah.
They're gonna put what's his nuts in there.
And
eventually.
honestly, what I saw of Drake May in the preseason, promising.
Yes,
but
I agree. Even though I was super low on him in the draft, I'm super low on
I was too. The only quarterback I really trust in the draft was Jaden Daniels.
Good answer.
Yeah, I was really surprised, and JJ McCarthy too. I know he's out for the season, but he was really good in his one preseason game, which I was surprised by. But Drake,
him going out and getting that surgery now could end up being better for him too.
Yeah.
To actually watch how fast the league is.
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't think they should have played JJ this year anyway. I don't really think, unless you have a good system around your rookie quarterback, which I guess JJ does in Minnesota. We'll get to that later. But I don't think Drake May should play this year at all because they don't have a team around him.
So I'll say this stat now. It's not really a stat, but like it's an observation. Like, can you name in the last 10 years how many first round quarterbacks that have started week 1 have led their teams to I don't know I don't know how you want to determine success, because I guess that can be different based on like team standards. Like if you're the first overall pick, success is probably not sucking at some point in the next couple years, you know. But like realistically, Joe Burrow took his team to a Super Bowl. He started immediately
in his second year. Yep.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been terrible. I'm not going to say he's been great. He hasn't been terrible.
I agree.
Baker played awesome in Cleveland. We're not going to act like he didn't.
I agree.
And CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud came in and played amazing.
Yeah.
But all the other quarterbacks that are playing now that are really, really good, most of them didn't start week 1. Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen did start week 1.
No, he did not. Nathan Peterman did.
Oh, that's true. You're right. I forgot. Josh Allen started week 2. Justin Herbert. But Jordan Love. A lot of these guys didn't start week 1, and it just we'll talk about it when we get to Washington. That's one of my big worries with Washington is Jaden Daniels getting thrown right into the fire because that O-line is still trash. I think a huge part of development, I think that's part of why Tom Brady was so good, other than the fact that I think he was just underrated out of college, is because he was able to watch from the sideline and kind of get an understanding of how the NFL works. And when you don't really have weapons around your rookie quarterback, you're kind of setting up for failure. I think, in my opinion, I'm not as low in Sam Darnold as a lot of other people are. In my opinion, if Sam Darnold had a better team around him when he was drafted, I get he was drafted 3rd overall, 2nd overall, whatever it was. I think Sam Darnold could have been a lot better in New York.
Well, that's just the Jets. Let's be honest here. Yeah. They did the same thing to Zach Wilson. Like that's just.
But Zach Wilson was never good.
But like even just mentally, like if you've seen the interviews, how happy he is out in Denver, even not as the starter. You know, like
New York,
the Jets New York just killed him. All right, but yes, the New England Patriots last. Agreed.
Yeah. And I think it's like an upside last though.
I don't know. We'll see.
Because they have a promising young quarterback.
Maybe.
Well, from what we saw, I like Drake May. Anyway, 3rd, I have, this might be controversial, I have the Buffalo Bills finishing 3rd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I do disagree with you, but I have in that division probably the Dolphins getting 3rd.
See, I have, we can discuss the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Bills all together because I have a reasoning for it. Number 2, I have the Jets.
Same, I think.
And then I have the Dolphins winning the division.
That's where I think I have the Bills.
The reason I have the Dolphins winning the division. So obviously the Bills have the best quarterback in that division, Josh Allen by far.
Yep.
Josh Allen, talent-wise, like I think he's awesome. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I think you've known this for many years. I've been a big fan of Josh Allen since his rookie year. I got to see Josh Allen play in college, one game, and I thought he was awesome then. Um, and So I've been a big fan of Josh Allen for many years. I don't think he's had as much success as I was hoping he would have. I'm hoping that this is the year that he kind of stops turning the ball over so much and lights the world on fire. But because of the lot, like the defense, so I have the Bills finishing third because I think their losses on defense and on offense are going to be too much for them to overcome. Uh, Especially when you consider that the Jets have the best defense in that division by far. Um, it's going to be hard for them to overcome the loss of Stephon Diggs, even though he didn't really do much for them in the last 5 games last year. I just don't think the Bills have enough pieces anymore, offensively or defensively. I think they're going to take a step back. I do think they'll be good next year once they can develop Keon Coleman. But I just think losing and not having Matt Milano again because he's out for the season is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Is like and losing Jordan Poyer and Tre'Davious White on defense, like they just don't have a defense anymore. The Jets, and you can feel free to chime in anytime.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm super low on the Dolphins. I'm just not convinced they didn't just have a fluke season.
Sure.
That defense is. Did they improve at all this offseason? The defense.
The Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they get anyone important?
Let me talk about the Jets real quick because we both have them finishing second.
Unless Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. That's my caveat. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy the whole season, I think the Jets run away with the division.
I disagree. I think Aaron Rodgers is bad now.
Oh, you can't say, dude. That
I think the
hurts my soul.
I think the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins all win 9 games because they each have to play the Patriots twice. But
you're saying the Patriots go winless in the division?
Yes. I think they each go 2-0 against the. I think they each go 2-0 in the division, with it against the Patriots, and then I think they each split with each other. So I think they all go 4-2 or 3-3. No, they all go 3.
No,
4. That can't happen. No, they
4-2. 4-2. 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2. They each go 4-2. Right. The math wasn't mathing for a second. They each split with each other because I think they're all talent-wise about the same in different aspects. Obviously I think the Bills have the best quarterback. I think the Dolphins have the best offense, and I think the Jets have the best defense.
Yeah.
But that one single player on the Bills, Josh Allen, is probably the single best player in the whole division. Period. So he's like a wild card. So I think they split with each other and they all go 2-0 against the Patriots. So they all finish 4-2. The reason I think the Jets finish second is because I don't trust Aaron Rodgers, and I absolutely do not trust Nate Hackett or Robert Saleh.
Well, their coaches are big dumb dipshits. I won't deny that.
The reason I think the Dolphins win the division, and I think the Dolphins go 10-7, and I think the Bills and Jets each go 9-8. I think the Dolphins go 10-7 because I love Mike McDaniel as a head coach, and they have Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and Jalen Waddle.
And their defense isn't that bad. Like
their defense isn't that bad. No, I'm not saying their defense.
Defense is better than the Bills' defense is going to be.
Yes, agreed.
And I think those small things, the fact that they have the best head coach in the division, is the reason they're going to win the division. I don't trust any team in this division to make it far in the playoffs. I think whoever wins it loses first in the first round.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, probably.
I think it's going to be really close between those 3 teams. Any one of those 3 teams could win the division. I think it's a 1 playoff team division, though.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree with you there too. I think it's a 2 playoff team division. I think first,
1-2?
second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 1-2, and that's why I said like if it's not the Bills, then it's the Jets, and the other team takes one of the wild cards.
That's fair. Yeah. I do see either. I could see. This is one of the situations where I could see any of the top 3 teams winning the division. And And if I'm wrong about the Bills, then I'm wrong about the Bills. I think I'd be happy to be wrong about the Bills because that probably means Josh Allen is like an MVP candidate.
I mean, he's an MVP candidate every year, just not
Not
as good as Lamar, you know.
not with all the turnovers that he has, in my opinion. I know he's been considered it, but I think it's crazy
Well,
that
listen, he was the only other player to get a first place MVP vote last year. Lamar was one MVP vote from
I
having a unanimous MVP
I think
again.
it unanimously should have been Lamar, but it's whatever.
Oh, it 100% should have been, but whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Um, so yeah, but I have the Dolphins winning the division, although I could see the Jets. I think the Jets defense is awesome. Like just the Jets defense is so
Yeah,
good.
when you said Josh Allen's the best player in that division, I'm gonna have to disagree. I think it's Sauce Gardner. He makes such a big defense. He makes.
I think Tyreek Hill. I just let me rephrase that. I think Josh Allen is the most has we know what Tyreek Hill is and we know what Sauce Gardner is, but Josh Allen has the potential to be the best player in that division. If he plays at his elite peak level all the time, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
Sauce
there's
Gardner,
some games where he's just
Sauce
an
Gardner, and
absolute
Tyreek
dog.
Hill are the best offensive and defensive players consistently in that whole, maybe in even the whole conference. Outside of Patrick Mahomes or whatever, like those two are just awesome. The Jets defense is super good. The Dolphins defense is respectable. So I do think it's the Jets and the Dolphins. I do think the Jets finish second. I'm not high on Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think their offense is going to be that good, but their defense is going to win them a lot of games, I think. Do you have anything you want to throw into the AFC East conversation still?
Super high on Aaron Rodgers. Love him to death.
Okay, let's go on to the NFC East, which is going to get a little bit spicier. I think we're unanimous on this. I think we talked about this earlier.
Giants suck dick.
Yeah,
Suck.
I like Malik Neighbors a lot. Their defense, their front four on their defense is not bad. Maybe their front seven on their defense isn't bad. The Giants
That's
defense,
probably their best position.
yeah, the Giants defense in general isn't horrible, but I know you like Daniel Jones. I hate Daniel Jones.
I love Nathaniel Dimes. Love him to death. And
Uh,
I will stand on business yet again. He will not be the problem in New York this year.
but I think the Giants go 1-5 in the division, and
Wow, that's crazy. I actually think they probably do decent in the division because they always do. It's crazy.
I think they split with the Commanders and then lose to the Eagles and the Cowboys. They could win both against the Eagles like they did last year though, so we'll see.
Yeah.
uh,
But yes, I think we're both very much in agreement
that the Giants are last.
Yep.
Third, I have the Commanders, but I don't think that's a disrespectful thing. I think the Commanders are actually going to be decent. Probably going to win like 7 or 8 games.
So that's where I'm putting the Eagles. I think the Eagles, even though they signed Saquon, regressed.
Yeah. Oh, real quick about the AFC East. Another reason why I have the Bills finishing third is because they're going to be playing a first place division winner schedule, and they're not going to be able to handle it. So.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, I don't know.
That's another reason why I have the Bills in third in the AFC East.
That's fair. But yeah,
Um,
Eagles going to be in third. Goddard had a down year, and even though I drafted him in our fantasy league because there was no one else left, not convinced he's going to be good. I'm really just I'm there's so many weapons there. I'm not convinced everyone's going to be happy. Jalen Hurts clearly still has problems with
you have
Sirianni.
the Eagles in third.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't hate that at all.
yeah.
I have the Eagles second, but
That's where I have Washington.
yeah,
So
I don't hate that either. I think the Commanders are going to be sneaky better than people think this year.
I
Like
think
Jaden Daniels a lot, so
yeah, I think, and like I said, my biggest worry is that offensive line is not going to protect him because that offensive
Yeah.
line for passing situations is the biggest pile of dog shit
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my
And
life.
their
I actually
defense-
could sit there with my hand, pick up shit, and throw it at a wall, and it would still protect Jane Daniels better than the offense.
Washington's defense is not as good either since they got rid of Chase Young.
But they picked up good. They like Bobby Wagner. I think was
Oh,
a
yeah.
great sign.
I
They picked
forgot
up
they
that
got Bobby
guy
Wagner.
from I can't remember his name, but they picked up that linebacker from the Panthers who was one of their captains who was really good. I'm blanking on his name, but like they picked up key
Brian
spots.
Burns?
No.
Oh,
No.
Kwan
He went to
Short.
the Giants, which is annoying.
Kwan Short.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
But he's good, and I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
I
But
don't hate I don't hate the Eagles in third at all.
yeah.
I
They also just signed a lot of low risk, high reward
yeah
contracts, like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, like a lot of older vets
yeah.
who teams are just overlooking who have the potential to still.
I
Austin Eckler. Oh my God, Austin
Austin,
Eckler,
yeah.
great
If he
signing.
could stay healthy, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I don't think there's much to talk about with Washington. I think they're going to be better than people expect this year. I could see them finishing second. Um, I think
They have a wild card spot for me.
we both have Dallas winning the division. Um, here's a hot take that I think a lot of people are going to disagree with. This is going to be the second worst division in football this year. There's only going to be one playoff team from this division as well for me.
Yeah, nah. This division's still gonna be pretty high.
I completely disagree. I think the Eagles are going to be really bad. I mean, they had the second biggest loss this offseason of any team.
Who? Jason Kelsey?
Jason Kelsey. The biggest
Yeah.
loss was Aaron Donald of the Rams.
Yeah, you can't get over that, dude. That guy,
No.
if he decided to keep playing, was gonna end up being like one of the best
Jason Kelsey,
DNs ever.
they're not going to be able to do the tush push anymore without Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, I don't know. They got a new center though, who actually looks pretty good.
I
so.
mean, their offensive line's going to be still good, but because they have Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata and
But also, I don't think they're gonna have to rely on it as much because they picked up Saquon, who has just as strong legs as Jalen Hurts.
I have heard rumors that they want Saquon to do the tush push.
Interesting.
But I think the relationship between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni is going to be extremely detrimental. I think they added Jahan Dotson. Like, they're not going to be able to make all of their weapons happy, like you said.
Yep.
Their defense, while they improved, is still garbage. Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean I like a lot as draft picks, but they're rookies, so they're gonna have to develop. And they lost Fletcher Cox to retirement. Or wait, was that Fletcher Cox?
No, I think he retired.
And then they traded Hassan Reddick.
Yeah.
So they
won it out too.
Right,
so.
right. But he was one of their best defensive players last year.
Yeah.
So I don't hate the
All right,
Eagles. I don't hate the Eagles in third at all. And then the Cowboys had one of the most embarrassing.
We don't even need to talk about these fuckers. Cowboys are at the top. Moving on.
I was gonna say the Cowboys had one of the most horrifying off seasons I've ever seen.
They really did. They have the worst running back core in the NFL.
Yeah.
CD got so much money. Dak doesn't want to be there. Mike McCarthy's a dumbass and should be eating at the buffet line.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Jerry
Fuck
Jones
Cowboys.
is horrible. Yeah, but Cowboys number one. I'm okay with moving on from the Cowboys. Next up, let's do the West. Because I feel like there's more to talk about with the AFC and NFC North and the AFC and NFC South than there is in the West.
I think those four divisions had the most happen or are still going to be the toughest in the NFL.
Yeah. So let's do the AFC West because we know who's going to finish in first in the AFC West.
I think we're probably going to have the exact same rankings.
So last place the Raiders.
Never mind.
Last place the Raiders. I think they have the worst quarterback situation in the division.
I don't care what anyone tries to tell me. The last place team is going to be the Broncos.
I have the Broncos in third because I think
that's where I have the Raiders.
Because I think they have a more proven coach than the Raiders do. Although I like Antonio Pierce better than Sean Payton.
Yeah, but Sean Payton didn't do shit in Denver so far.
That's true.
Sure, he's proven. He had fucking Drew Brees.
And I think it'll be I think those two could be interchangeable. I do think both teams are going to be bad.
Yes, that I can attest to.
Both teams very easily could go 2-0 against each other, 1-1 against each other. And I think my second place team are the Chargers.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I have the Chargers in the playoffs. And then
Interesting.
obviously Kansas City is going to win the division. So
Yep, I think that's pretty obvious.
I think the Chargers and Chiefs are going to split this year, and then they're going to go 2-0 against everybody else.
Chiefs honestly might go 500 in the division. Like they don't do well in a lot of those division games.
They
So,
own the
especially
Broncos.
recently.
They own the Broncos until last year, but
I mean the Raiders last year.
Yeah.
The Chargers should have beaten them at least once last year.
Although the Chargers don't have many weapons, I think Jim Harbaugh is going to make Justin Herbert the superstar that he's been trying to be for years.
Yeah, and Herbert's good enough to figure it out.
I love Justin Herbert. You know that.
Yep.
Justin Herbert's
I'm a stan.
Justin Herbert's probably my favorite quarterback in the league, and now that he's finally get the chance to shine. Although I think if he doesn't do that well this year, he's going to be officially considered a bust, and I think that's fair. But Jim Harbaugh's a great hire for them. Yeah, not much to say for the AFC West, I don't think.
Yep.
And then the NFC West, I have Arizona last.
Yep. Marvin Harrison Jr., great pick, though. Might have been the best pick in the entire draft.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, I think, will be solid this year. Trey McBride is going to be good.
Good there, sweetie?
Yeah, I'm still getting over
it's
that
called
cough.
breathing.
Trey McBride's, I think, going to be good, but not much to say. I have the Rams in third.
I agree with you there. I think they regress. That defense gets tremendously worse without Aaron Donald.
I agree. I don't
think Puka Nacua is going to do as good as he did last year. And they want their running back Williams to start returning kicks and stuff and be the number one. But they drafted that kid from Michigan, Collum, whatever his name is.
Corum?
He's going to be a dog. Corum, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be a dog. So.
But I think it's going to be a really tightly contested division between the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Niners. But I have the Seahawks second, and I have the Niners first.
Agreed, and I have both of them making the playoffs.
I also have both of them making the playoffs. I have the Rams. I think the Rams have a chance. If there was an 8th playoff team, I would have the Rams in, but because I still like Matthew Stafford and their offense, but their defense is going to take a massive step back. I think the Seahawks are underrated. I think Mike McDonald is going to revamp that defense. That defense is going to be respectable this year. And I still like Geno. I still think they have a really good offense. They have a great running back duo in Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker.
They have a top 10 receiving room in the fucking league.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf.
Yep. And Noah Fant is great at tight end.
Yes, Noah Fant's a very underrated tight end.
He's just not a pass catcher.
Geno is a passable quarterback.
We're not going to take any Geno Smith disrespect in the chat right now, boys.
I like Geno. He's passable.
And he's better than passable.
Yeah, maybe I'm writing him off and he's not writing back.
Hype shit. Remember that. Remember that.
I like Geno. I like Geno. But Seattle's underrated, and then the Niners, they fixed their problems. They got Trent Williams back. They got Brandon Ayuk back. I don't trust Brock Purdy, but they still have an elite offense, and they still have a great defense, and Kyle Shanahan's their head coach. So,
yeah, listen, unless it's the Super Bowl, the 49ers are going to be good.
Yep. And I have the Niners in second in the NFC. So, let's do the. Okay, so we're 30 minutes into this.
The Souths.
The Souths. You want to do the Souths? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping you would say.
The Norths are the ones that are going to be getting the most talk probably all season. And now, if I had to guess.
Yes, I think the NFC and AFC North interchangeably the two best divisions in football.
Yeah, that's not even close, but it's definitely the AFC.
And I will
North.
explain my reasoning why I think the NFC North is the best division of football, but I think it's interchangeable. If you have one of those two divisions and the other one second, I'm not going to argue much about it. But I have my reasonings and I'll explain why. But let's do the NFC South first. Because the AFC South has a little bit of interesting topics regarding the Colts and the Texans. So let's do the NFC South. I have New Orleans last. I just think Derek Carr.
Wow.
I just think they're going to be bad. I think the Panthers have a chance to go 2-0 against them, and
You know what? You might just want to say your list and then have me say mine.
yeah.
Because if you have New Orleans last, we're gonna differ.
So yeah, I have New Orleans last, Carolina third, Tampa Bay and Atlanta clear 1 and 2. Atlanta first,
Hmm.
because I think Atlanta's defensive additions pushed them over the top for me. If they hadn't added Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons, I would have had Tampa Bay first.
Gotcha. All right, so my list. Last place is the Panthers. We're not gonna act like they got any better.
Li- I
Uh,
I just think the Saints got worse. So
That's fair. I mean, it's a shitty division overall.
I agree, it's the
Uh,
worst division in football.
Third, probably yeah. Third place, I'm gonna go the Falcons.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is shit. Okay.
Agreed.
Drake London is shit. Okay.
Disagree, but yeah.
Whatever. Listen, you like that? Question mark. Second place, I agree with the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, I think, stayed about the same. Mike Evans is a dog.
Yep.
Baker's a dog. Rashad
Yep.
White is a dog.
They
That
didn't
defense
lose
is
any
good.
big pieces, so
Yep. First place, I have the Saints. I still love Derek Carr.
yeah.
Chris
I
Olave is a dog. I'm
Agreed.
always going to be super high on Alvin Kamara.
yep.
Taysom Hill is always such a wild card, and that defense still is a great secondary.
I just think Dennis Allen is a horrible head coach.
Well, that's probably true. That's probably why they haven't succeeded much recently.
I think Derek Carr. Obviously, I was a big Derek Carr guy. I'm still low key a big Derek Carr guy, but I don't. I think he's done after this year. I don't think he's gonna be good again.
I think the Saints and the Bucks make the playoffs, though.
See, I only have Atlanta because I have them winning the division. That's the only playoff team I have from this division. However, the Bucks I could see making the playoffs again because they, like I said, they didn't add or lose anybody super important, and they got everybody important back. So,
Yep.
I think the Bucks are going to be a 9-10 win team. I think Atlanta's going to be a 10-win team. I think it's going to come down to a tiebreaker between those two. Like I said, the reason I put Atlanta first over Tampa was because they added Judon and Simmons. And I think those are enough defensive additions to because the Falcons had a good defense last year, and now I think they're going to have a great defense.
We'll see.
And then once Kirk Cousins gets hurt this year, they'll put in Michael Penix Jr. and they will have a good offense.
Who I'm super high on. I think they do better with Penix than they do with Kirk.
I agree. I love Michael Penix. He played at IU.
do.
Go Hoosiers!
Okay, relax.
And then the AFC South. You and I talked about this earlier. We have the same two teams at the bottom, Tennessee and
Yep.
Jacksonville.
Uh-huh.
I like Trevor Lawrence, but the Jags, I don't think they made any big offseason moves, and I actually think they lost more important pieces than they added.
Yeah.
I've never liked Gabe Davis.
Yeah, he sells, dude. He drops the ball
They
too
do
much.
have Travis Etienne, who's a tremendous running back.
I agree.
But they have,
And Evan Engram, who's a very good tight end.
yeah, but those are like their only three offensive things, and then their defense
Is
it's
mid.
and they didn't add anything to it.
Yeah.
So I think we have the same 1 and 2, but there is a lot to talk about here because the Colts and the Texans are both very intriguing teams.
They are, and they're 1 and 2s. These 1 and 2s are interchangeable for me.
I think Houston's gonna win 12 games this year, and I think the Colts are gonna win 10. I have them both in the playoffs.
I have both of them in the playoffs as well. I just think I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot. I think they're gonna be a lot closer.
The Colts, the benefit they have, first of all, Shane Steichen's an awesome head coach. The Colts have have had one of the best offensive lines in football for like a decade now,
and a great D line too.
and they just have a tremendous defense in general.
Yeah.
And they always do. Like even if they lost Shaq Leonard last year, they still have a tremendous D line, defense. And they added somebody this year. I'm pretty sure, like a corner. I forget.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I don't know.
The thing so we know what the Texans are. They're going to be awesome. CJ Stroud's going to be awesome. We don't know what Anthony Richardson is, and I think that works in the Colts' favor. Like what we saw of him last year was great. but we've only seen him play one full season of college football and 4 NFL games.
But we do know what's around him, and
Yeah.
what's around him is also great. Like
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, if he's healthy all season, is a top 5 running
Yep.
back.
Yep.
Michael Pittman could be a top 10 wide receiver. If he,
Alec Pierce is solid.
Yeah, their tight end. Is that
Mo
Mo
Alley Cox? Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Underrated.
You know, like if Anthony Richardson plays 17 games like he did the 4 he played last season or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
They win the division.
I think if Anthony Richardson plays half the season like he did last year, they're a lock for the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the division. I just think the Texans are too good. The Texans have the best head coach in that division. They have the best quarterback in that division, at least right now.
Yeah.
But I just think the Colts are going to be so fun to watch this year. Even if they're bad, like I think Anthony Richardson's going to be good enough that they're going to be competitive, and they're going to be fun to watch all year, whether they're good or bad. Yep. But they're to me,
motherfucker better put up a lot of fantasy points. Let me tell you.
To me, they're clear 1-2 in the division.
Yes.
The Texans, I think, they added Stephon Diggs, but like,
I don't think that does anything to the offense.
That he's not going to play a big role. Joe Mixon's a good addition.
They did get Joe Mixon though, which is a big upgrade at running back.
Joe Mixon's a good addition. CJ might suffer from the sophomore slump, or he might have a Joe Burrow type of sophomore year where they go to the Super Bowl. We'll see.
Yep.
It's going to be really hard for CJ Stroud to be as better than he was last year, but
yeah,
I think he can do it. I do think teams might have him figured out, or at least play him better than they did last year, which is why I think the Colts might surprise some people, because it's like, what are we getting from Anthony Richardson? We don't know how to prepare for him. But yeah, I think Colts Texans are going to be 2 super interesting teams to keep an eye on all season long. That's going to be a really fun rivalry going forward if Anthony Richardson is the guy we think he is. So
yep, it will be. I hope he is. I like him.
Yeah, I like Anthony Richardson a lot too. I know, being from Indianapolis, having family there, all the Colts fans love him, and I hope he's able to stay healthy and is as electric as we think he's going to be. So
agreed.
Okay, so that just leaves the NFC and the AFC North. Which one do you want to talk about first?
The NFC.
Okay, so as we discussed, I think the NFC North is the best division in football. If every team was healthy, 100% healthy, it is the one division in football I think every single team would have a shot to win the division. That being said, the Minnesota Vikings do not have an actual starting quarterback right now. They have Sam Darnold, who is not bad, and he's going to look better throwing to Justin Jefferson and eventually TJ Hawkinson when he's healthy.
Yep.
So for that reason, I have the Vikings finishing last.
If they start off any decent, I could see him fucking around and trading for a good quarterback if Sam Darnold doesn't play well.
I don't think they'll do that because they have JJ McCarthy. For next year.
Why not, dude? Why not go try and maybe trade for Joe Flacco, who's on a 1-year deal? You know,
that's fair.
That's
something we didn't even talk about. Anthony Richardson has Joe Flacco to teach him the ropes.
My legitimate father.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
God,
I would let that man rail.
But I have
the point.
I have the Vikings last because I think not having an actual quarterback right now is going to be tough for them. I do like what they did in the offseason. The Vikings have had a tough offseason. They lost J.J. McCarthy after one preseason game. They had one of their draft picks pass away in a car accident.
Yep.
But they did get Justin Jefferson back. They will be getting T.J. Hawkinson back. They added Aaron Jones, who's a better running back than they had all of last season. And they added Dallas Turner on defense. They did lose Danielle Hunter. That's a huge defensive loss.
Yeah.
That we didn't even talk about. He went to the Texans. Losing Danielle Hunter is a bigger loss for the Vikings than it is an addition for the Texans.
Yeah.
So that's going to be big. But they did add Dallas Turner, who was the first defensive player off the board in the draft.
At pick fucking 42 or some shit like
18. That. They traded up to get him.
Crazy. That's just freaking nuts. But yes, I agree. Vikings last. I don't think there's much to be added there. it just ain't their year.
No, and that's not even like a diss. I still think the Vikings are going to be solid. They're going to win like 5, 6 games. Justin Jefferson's going to have 1,100, 1,200 yards like he does every year. Uh, like okay, so I also think the Vikings have the second best coach in the division. Kevin O'Connell's a great coach, and so
Yeah, that's crazy. Definitely disagree with that.
he's so it's close. LaFleur, O'Connell, and Campbell are all great coaches, so it's close.
I have a hard time putting anyone over LaFleur.
As the best.
Yeah, it's the best.
Okay, we can talk about that. I do like LaFleur though. So I think the Vikings are going to be solid. They're not gonna be like, they're not gonna get blown out every game. They'll be competitive. Um, but I just think not having an actual quarterback is going to hurt them, especially when they play the other three teams in their division.
Agreed.
Now, in third place, I have the Bears. And
Okay.
this is the only division that I think has three playoff teams. I think the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions all make it. And I have different reasonings for each of them. So the Bears, as Ian and I discussed earlier, the Bears have a great defense. They have great offensive weapons. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen if he's healthy. DeAndre Swift is a solid running back. They have a good offensive line, a better offensive line than they did last year. And it's going to be hard for Caleb Williams to be worse at quarterback than Justin Fields was and Mitch Trubisky was. I'm not a super high on Caleb Williams, but it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be hard for him to be worse. And they won 7 games last year with Justin Fields at quarterback, and they have to play the Vikings, and they're playing a last place schedule, so it'd be really hard for the Bears to be any worse than they were last year. And I just think with the weapons that they have, and Roma Dunze at 9, like Roma Dunze is gonna be really good. So,
Yeah.
uh, the Bears are going to be improved. They're going to win like 9 or 10 games. They're going to make the playoffs in the NFC. Number 2, I have the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur is a tremendous coach. I think Jordan Love. So this is actually an interesting point of conversation for me and Ian because Ian and I are in a fantasy league together, and Ian's quarterback is Jordan Love, and my quarterback is C.J. Stroud. And we each thought one of those quarterbacks in those teams was going to take a step back this year, and our draft picks kind of signal to the other person who we think
Who we
is
have
going
the
to.
faith in.
Yeah, we have more faith in. I like Jordan Love though. I think he's going to be good again. I think the Packers are going to be about what they were last year, 9-10 win team. But that's not a bad thing because that's a solid. I still think they're going to make the playoffs, and I think Jordan Love is going to be brilliant because he was brilliant into last year. So, do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, I just think you're wrong. I have the Lions in third. I think they're going to very much regress back.
Okay.
I don't know. They had their cute little homecoming. You know,
Yeah.
they were good. Congrats.
I have the
It's
Lions
time to
winning
get.
the division again, but
I know. Well, it's time for them to like face reality, okay? And then I have the Bears in second. I fucking hate Caleb Williams.
I know
Fuck
you do.
him. He went to an all guys high school right by me that my high school is rivals with. Fuck him. But he's probably going to do really well. It's actually I saw this thing today where it's almost going to be impossible for him to not be the best rookie quarterback the Bears have ever
Oh
had
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
It's going to be really really hard. And
Yeah.
I
He'd have to
think
try.
I agree. But I think the Bears had at least from the trade deadline on, have had the best acquisitions
Oh, agreed.
in that whole division.
Yeah.
And like you said, they are playing a last place schedule. They're going to probably beat the shit out of some of these teams because these other teams that they're playing from all these other last place divisions
Carolina.
did
the
not get
Patriots.
significantly better.
Yeah.
So that's where I have them. And then, like you said, you have the Lions winning the division. I obviously have the Packers. I am extremely high on the Packers. I
Yeah.
would not be surprised if they fucked around and won
So
the entire conference.
so
And only one team from that division makes the playoffs for me, and it is the Packers.
so I disagree. I think the Bears, Packers, and Lions all make the playoffs just because I think the NFC is such a weak conference overall. Um, and three of the most promising teams in the division are in the conference or in the same division. I definitely think at least two of them make it. The Lions, to me, are besides the Kansas City Chiefs, are the most complete team in the entire NFL. They have a tremendous offensive line. They have a great offensive wide receiver duo. They have one of the best tight ends in football. In my opinion, by the end of the season, Sam Laporta could be the best tight end in football. They have a really good defense that just gets better every year. And they have a head coach that they believe in and has literally changed the whole culture of that team.
Well, I'm not going to let you sit here and gaslight me saying they have one of the only two teams that have the most complete roster in the NFL.
Okay.
That's a wild
Okay,
accusation.
the Raven. We haven't talked about the AFC North yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, now I don't know. I do agree with you that they have a very good roster. I'm not going to say their defense is that great because let's be honest, it really wasn't when it needed to be. Also, I think we've had this conversation before. Dan Campbell is the reason they lost any game last year except the game against the Ravens. The Ravens beat the absolute piss out of them, but every other game they lost was because Dan Campbell is a big dumb dipshit, going for it on fourth down instead of taking points or punting it. So
yeah.
he's going to consistently be the reason they keep losing if he keeps doing this fucking fourth down shit on his own 35.
I don't hold it against him. I do think in the NFC Championship game you have to take the points because
I was gonna say they fucking win the NFC title game if he takes points.
A trip to the Super Bowl's on the line. However, they were up 27-10 and they lost the game.
Yeah. Also, I guess I can't talk much on the NFC title game because one, I didn't get to see any of it because I was stuck in Baltimore trying to leave the worst football game I've ever seen in my life.
The
AFC title game.
20, it was like 27-10. The Lions were winning, and they blew that. And that is
I know.
Not entirely on Dan Campbell's fourth down decisions. They just took their foot off the gas. And if there's one thing we've learned from the Lions, it's that the last couple of years they've learned from the mistakes they've made the previous year, and they've been better for it. So I think given the opportunity, they would not take their foot off the gas. In the second half of that game, they went away from their game plan that they had in the first half. That was working.
Yes, I agree.
And if they had just stuck to it, they would have run away with that game even after the fourth down decisions. But Dan Campbell has just turned the tide of that team, and Jared Goff is not a great quarterback, but he is a good enough quarterback to lead the Lions to the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying they're going to make it. We haven't gotten that far yet, but he led the Rams to the Super Bowl, and the Rams had a much better team, obviously, at that time. But I don't know. I just think everything that the Lions have built is just so solid. They don't have like an actual weakness. Every other team has some sort of weakness. Last year, the Chiefs' weakness was their wide receiving core, which I think they fixed this year. But so I don't think they have a weakness anymore. But every team out there has a noticeable weakness. I don't think the Lions do. So, and also the Lions, and also now the Lions have the best jerseys in the NFL. So
okay, fucking lax. But I don't know. I
don't know, man. That blue helmet's pretty sick.
Shut it. I want to see Dan Campbell change before I'll put the Lions back up anywhere. Because like I said, if he's going to keep doing that fourth down bullshit, especially when they're going to have to play legitimate teams this year, not the ass water of the NFL anymore.
That's fair.
You know, like it's going to be tough. And I think the Packers fixed positions where they needed to. I think signing Josh Jacobs was huge.
Totally agree. Yep. I will say that the one thing holding the Lions back this year will be the fact that they're playing the first place schedule. But obviously, I have the faith in that team that they're going to be able to handle it. So, and also I think the Bears, Packers, and Lions all go 3-3 in the division.
Fair enough.
They all split with each other. I think the Vikings are good enough to steal a game from each of them.
4-2?
No, I think the Vikings are good enough to split with each of those teams. I don't think I think I'm not saying they are gonna go 3-3. Every team in that division is gonna go 3-3. But I'm saying that I think the Vikings are still frisky enough and good enough to be able to do it.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
Um, so now we're going to the AFC North, which you say is the best division of football, and I'm not gonna disagree because
By fucking far.
it is. It's a dogfight in that division every year. That's true.
Yet again, this so far it's the only division in the current playoff format where all four teams have made it so far one year.
Yeah.
So,
Last year.
um,
No,
was it?
the year before. No, no, no,
No,
no, year before.
year before. Year before.
Yeah, because the Bengals didn't
Um,
make it last year.
yeah. But this is my division, so I'll go first.
Yeah, yeah. You go first.
Um, so in last place, I do have the Brownies.
Okay.
Um, I think Nick Chubb being out for the first 4 to 6 weeks is just going to be brutal to them.
Okay.
Deshaun is not that dude. That's very
Okay.
obvious for so many reasons. I do love Amari Cooper. People are super high on David Njoku this year, but what they don't realize is all his
Underrated.
stats came with. Whoa, I'm going to go way overrated. All his stats came with Flacco, not Deshaun. When Deshaun was playing, he was
Yeah.
like basically a ghost. They did get Jerry Jeudy, but yet again, if Deshaun can only throw like 12 yards because his arm is weak, which
Yeah.
surprises the hell out of me.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
don't see it happening.
Okay. Number 3.
Pittsburgh, they just, regardless of how bad their QB situation is, their offense probably will just be in general. They're gonna go 9-8 and be just fine. That's
Okay.
just how they operate.
Number 2. I know who your 1 and 2 are.
Yeah, Cincinnati and Baltimore, and I think both of them make the playoffs.
So, you and I have the exact same list for this.
Amazing.
And I also have Baltimore and Cincinnati making the playoffs. Cleveland, their offense is gonna be garbage.
Yeah,
But
just Nick Chubb not being there is just so tough.
yeah, their offense is gonna be horrible. I don't trust Deshaun Watson at all. I think they'd be better if Jameis Winston was starting. But
They honestly should have just kept Flacco.
but their defense is legit.
Every team's defense in this division is legit.
Not the
Like,
Bengals. Completely disagree. The Bengals defense.
oh,
is
I think the
worst
Bengals are.
the Bengals
I-
the Bengals have the worst defense in this division.
Okay, well that I can agree to, but I think all of them are probably.
The reason the Bengals
top
can hang
12.
is because their offense is so good.
We'll see how it turns out this
The
year.
Browns defense is super good. Myles Garrett's awesome.
Yep.
And they're just
Their DBs are awesome.
They don't have a weakness on defense, which is why they have been so good. But their offense is going to hold them back. I agree that they're going to finish last in the division.
Yep. But still score way more points than the Steelers, who are still going to be better than them.
Yes, because the Steelers have maybe the best defense in the NFL. The Steelers I've had finishing third. I just like Tomlin is a genius. Whatever he does, like it's impossible for them to have a losing record.
Yep.
I was actually convinced earlier today that Mike Tomlin was I was having a discussion with somebody that Mike Tomlin was the best coach in the NFL. And after their argument, I was like, I think you're right, because they've played in the AFC North for Tomlin's entire 18 years with the team. They've never had a losing record, and the entire time there have been at least 2 or 3 teams in that division who are really good. It's a dogfight in that division every year, and Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record. It's 8-8 or 9-7. Sometimes they go 12-4. Now 12-5, but
Yeah, sometimes they fuck around and play decent.
it's sometimes, yeah, but every year the Steelers have a winning record, and I have not seen anything. I do think they have an upgrade at quarterback because Kenny Pickett's hot garbage.
Agreed.
But I don't think Russell Wilson's good anymore, and I think Justin Fields is still better than Kenny Pickett. So,
Yep.
But so they're gonna have an upgrade on offense. They have 2 good running backs. But their defense, T.J. Watt is the single best defensive player in the league, and as long as they have him, their defense is going to be extremely formidable. So it's hard to see the Steelers not finishing 9-8. Number 2, I have the Bengals because that's only if Joe Burrow's healthy, though. There's a caveat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think they've kind of mishandled the Jamar Chase situation, and the T. Higgins situation.
Yep.
Because now they're gonna lose T. Higgins for nothing in the offseason.
Well, their owners are fucking cheapskates.
Yeah, and I think this is gonna be
No.
the last year this Bengals are actual contenders because they're gonna have to start paying people, and they're not gonna want to do that. So
Yep.
the only player there will be willing to pay is Joe Burrow, and I honestly think Joe Burrow is the kind of quarterback that would take a pay cut if they wanted to give the money to somebody else so that they can keep their team. But and then, like I said,
Yeah.
I think they have the worst division in the. I'm not saying their defense is bad, but they have the worst division in this division, the worst defense in the division.
Yes, I agree with that.
The defenses in this division, far and away, it goes Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, and then by a wide margin, Cincinnati. But they have a passable defense.
By a wide margin. Yeah. Honestly, like Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland are 3 of the top 5 defenses in the NFL right
Yeah,
there.
San Fran and I don't know, Kansas City maybe.
I'd probably put the Jets up there.
Oh yeah, the Jets. Yeah, San Fran and the Jets for sure.
But yeah.
Kansas City's top 10 though.
All right, now let me hear you say it, baby. Say it slowly, deeply into my ears.
And then
Whisper it.
And in first place in the AFC North, I have the Ravens.
Wider. Oh, yeah.
The reason I think the Ravens are not a super complete team, they lost Patrick Queen to the Steelers. They do have one of the best safeties in football in Kyle Hamilton. They do still have Roquan Smith, so that defense is going to be super good. Lamar Jackson is awesome. Mark Andrews is awesome. He's going to be back this year, healthy. He came back in the playoffs, obviously, but they added Derrick Henry, which I don't think they needed to, but that's always going to be a positive rather than a negative. The only issue I have with the Ravens is that they lost 2 or 3 of their 2 or 3 best offensive linemen. Tyler Lindenbaum, Morgan Moses are gone.
No, wait. We didn't lose Linderbaum.
Who did you lose then?
Yeah,
Morgan
Linderbaum
Moses.
was a rookie last year. Also, Morgan Moses can kick rocks. He got so many holding penalties, and I wasn't worried about that. It was Ben Power.
Yeah, Ben Power. Yeah.
Ben Power. Our other. It was our two guards.
Okay, but yeah, you lost 2 of your best offensive linemen, and Lindenbaum's good. And you still have. I think they still have a good offensive line.
Ronnie
obviously.
Stanley.
Yeah, and but I think they don't have enough receiving weapons. They have Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I know, that's it. Dude, our number 2 receiver is Nelson Aguilar. You don't even need to get me started on that.
So I don't think they're as complete as they were a year ago. So they got weaker on offense, but they still have the 2-time MVP in Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews. So they're going to be good.
2-time MVP and Mark Henry type shit. Or Mark Henry, Derrick Henry.
2-time MVP and Derrick Henry. So
oh man, world's strongest.
But yeah, I think the Ravens are gonna be just fine. So my playoff teams. Do you want to add anything?
Nope. Ravens are 17-0 as far as I'm concerned.
So my playoff teams in the NFC, I have the 1 seed being the Lions, the 2 seed being the Niners, the 3 seed being the Cowboys, the 4 seed being the Falcons, purely for the caveat that they're going to be the division winner. Same with Dallas. If the playoff rankings in the NFL were based on the NBA, which is by record, the Falcons and the Cowboys would probably be 6 and 7, maybe 5 and 6, and then I have the wild cards being Green Bay, Chicago, and Seattle.
Yep, my NFC is, this is not in order, but yeah, Cowboys, Packers, Saints, Niners, and then Washington, Seattle, and Tampa to round out the wild cards.
And I think those are good playoff teams. I think your playoff selections. I was borderline Tampa, and the Rams. So,
yeah.
And then my AFC, from top to bottom, I have the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Texans, the Dolphins, purely for the caveat that they're going to be the division winner. I want to throw that out there because I don't believe in the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Cowboys at all. Uh, and then the Bengals, the Colts, and the Chargers are the wild cards.
Yep, mine is obviously Baltimore. Then we got, hoping the Colts, probably the Texans winning that division. Either the Jets or the Bills, the Chiefs, and then the other one, whether it was the Texans or Colts, the Bengals, and then the Bills or Jets making the wild card.
Yeah, cool. And then who do you have winning the Super Bowl, Ian?
Well, so for my title games, so my AFC title game, I have the Chiefs, and then get ready for this. I have the Ravens and the Bengals playing in the divisional. So
Oh wow.
the winner of that, oh, sorry, I lied. I have the Ravens and the Chiefs playing in the divisional, and the winner plays the Bengals in the AFC Championship. That was it. I was reading wrong. And
Sure.
then the NFC title game, I have the Packers and Niners. I just think the NFC, like we've said the whole time, is so weak that
Yeah. So I think for the you have the who playing in the NFC title game?
NFC, Packers, and Niners.
Packers and Niners. Oh, a rematch of last year's divisional round. Nice.
Yes.
I like that. So in my AFC, I think Miami gets booted by Cincinnati pretty easily. I think the winner of the AFC East gets booted by Cincinnati pretty easily. It's good. I have Colts and the Texans playing in the wild card round. That's gonna be an electric game. Because I think the Colts and Texans are going to be splitting in the regular season, so this will be a tiebreaker. I would have Houston beating them because they have the playoff experience. And then the Ravens would be playing the Chargers, and the Ravens would win. And then that would mean that the Bengals play the Chiefs in the AFC title or the AFC divisional round. And famously, there's only been two quarterbacks to go into Arrowhead and beat Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game. Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. I'm going to take the Chiefs in that game. Because I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then Houston and Baltimore. This game would be in Baltimore, be a rematch of last year's divisional round. And I'm going to take the Texans to beat the
Okay.
Ravens. And here's where it gets interesting. The AFC title game, Houston and Kansas City. Give me CJ Stroud and the Texans to go to the Super Bowl.
That's diabolical activity right there.
Give me the Texans to be in the Super Bowl, their first Super Bowl ever.
Crazy.
And then the NFC, we got the first round matchups being the Niners and the Seahawks. I think the Niners win that pretty easily. The Cowboys and the Bears, give me the Bears in that one. And then the Falcons and the Packers, give me the Packers. Lions, Bears, give me the Lions. Packers, Niners, give me the Packers.
There you go.
And I got Lions, Packers in the NFC title game.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
I swear to fucking Christmas, if you say the Lions...
Give me the Packers to go to the Super
Okay.
Bowl. And it's going to be
Okay.
Jordan Love versus CJ Stroud.
Wow, I actually didn't expect... Okay, so I have the Packers in the Super Bowl. And then if it's the Ravens and Bengals, I have the Ravens in the Super Bowl. If it's the Bengals and Chiefs, I have the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
It's hard to bet against the Chiefs, but it's so much harder to three-peat.
Yep.
Credit
And I think this is the worst roster they've had so far.
last year was the worst roster they had so far.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think this one's pretty bad.
But it's so hard to three-peat, and everybody's going to be gunning for them. They're going to get every team's best shot every single day, and eventually it's going to catch up to them. But it's so hard to bet against them. If they three-peat, kudos to them, but honestly, kudos to what they've already done. But the Packers, Texans in the Super Bowl. Are you ready for this, Ian?
I'm erect.
CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans are going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're doing meth. I see. Yeah. Honestly, I think whoever comes out of the AFC wins the Super Bowl. Some team.
I just think it's the better conference.
Yeah, until some team proves to me that, like, I don't think the 49ers, the Packers, the Lions, the anyone who you think is good could even like sniff the top 5 teams in the AFC
Yeah,
right
I
now.
agree. I think the Lions are the only. Well, the Lions and Niners are probably the only teams in the NFC that could actually like compete with the AFC. I mean, the Lions beat the Chiefs last year.
Nah, they shouldn't have though.
Yeah. And then
Like you got to think about
I
it. Like
I
the Lions
I would,
shouldn't have beaten the.
as much as I'm a Lions believer, I'd have to see how they do against the first place schedule, and then I would have to see them physically play the Ravens or the Bengals or the Chiefs and see what happens. Like middle season when it really matters. To really believe in them.
Yeah,
I've been a Lions believer since Dan Campbell got there, but I just think until I just don't think any team outside the AFC can win until Patrick Mahomes is no longer the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. So,
that's fair. I don't know, but my thing
because my reasoning is if you can beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, you're the team to beat. So,
that's fair. But yeah, like the Lions last year, like they should have lost to the Chiefs. If Travis Kelce had played, I think they definitely get shit on.
if Chris Jones
Um,
plays, they definitely get shit on.
That too. They lost to the Ravens by 30 plus, and then the 49ers, the Chiefs obviously beat them in the Super Bowl, and the Ravens dismantled them on Christmas Day last year, you know. And I think didn't the Bengals beat the 49ers last year too? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know, just like I just don't think,
Yeah.
and that was with Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, like I just
in defense of all the NFC teams, the AFC teams have no choice but to build really good rosters because they have to deal with the Chiefs.
Yeah, literally. And it hasn't like
The-
dude, it
the
was like
NFC
simultaneous.
the-
Tom Brady left, Patrick Mahomes came.
The NFC, yeah, the AFC's had no time to recover or even have a chance of winning a Super Bowl because it went straight from Tom Brady to Mahomes. So, the NFC doesn't have
Yeah.
any quarterback that can even consider themselves on the level of Patrick Mahomes. At least Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson have an argument because Joe Burrow's beaten Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game and Lamar Jackson's a 2-time MVP. So you can at least have a discussion, but Patrick Mahomes is the gold standard right now, and as long as he is playing in the AFC, no NFC team is going to have a chance against any AFC team, I think. So
Yeah,
because
unless
if you
some
come
A-
because if
unless-
you come out of the AFC, that means you conquered either the Chiefs themselves or the team that conquered the Chiefs. So
Yep.
yeah,
I just hope those fuckers don't make the playoffs. That's what I'm praying for.
the Chiefs,
Yep.
they're going to. They play in the West.
I know. They are in such a
Okay,
shitty division.
So we've gone long. We're going to try to keep these to 45 minutes to an hour, but we ran long today because there's a lot more to talk about with the predictions. Real quick, let's get our predictions for week 1 in, Ian. I'm going to go down the list and we'll just make our picks. I know you made your picks for the Ravens on your TikTok. Go follow him on TikTok, Fly High Galaxo.
yes, sure. Yes, sure.
And while you're at it, you can follow me on Instagram at Avatar Tyler.
Yep.
And on twitch.tv/Avatar Tyler. So Thursday night.
Any other self promos before
Nope.
we do the
Nope.
predictions?
Nope. Thursday night, Ravens Chiefs rematch of the AFC title game. Going to be a great game.
Yep. Chiefs are probably winning, but we all are praying for Baltimore still.
I think the Ravens have a shot, more of a shot than teams want to give credit for, but I do think the Chiefs are going to win this one, especially after last year when they lost on opening day. So
Yep. I agree.
Friday night in Brazil, Packers Eagles. Who you got?
Give me the Packers, baby.
Packers easily.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a blowout. All right, now we're getting to the Sunday schedule. I'm just going off of. I don't know if it's going to be listed behind me, but this is the Week 1 matchups behind me on screen here. But I'm just going to go off of what NFL.com has them listed as. Next game, Pittsburgh and Atlanta.
I'm gonna sadly say the Steelers.
I'm going to also pick the Steelers, only because I don't know if Kirk Cousins is playing.
Yeah.
Because he tore his Achilles in November or October, and Aaron Rodgers tore his on the first game of the year. So he's had more time to recover.
Yep.
Arizona and Buffalo.
Buffalo.
I will also take Buffalo. Tennessee and Chicago.
The Bears.
I'm going with the Bears as well. This one's probably the easiest one of the weekend. It's the Patriots and the Bengals.
New England. Come on now. Yeah, no, the Bengals. The Bengals should kick the shit out of them.
The Bengals, should win that one pretty easily. In my opinion, this is the most exciting matchup of the weekend. It's the Colts and the Texans.
Yep, give me the Colts.
I'm also going to take the Colts. I literally just picked the Texans to win the Super Bowl, but my reasoning behind this is that we don't know. They don't have a way to prepare for Anthony Richardson, so he's going to come out and light them on fire. But that does mean that later in the year, I will be picking the Texans to even the season series. Jacksonville and Miami.
I actually don't know.
I'm going to go with the
I
Jaguars.
actually might take Jacksonville here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the AFC South is a better division than the AFC East, so as a whole. Panthers
Yeah.
and Saints.
Give me the Saints.
I will take the Saints as well. Giants, Vikings.
Wow, I trashed them an hour ago or so, but I'm really going to take the Giants here.
I'm going to take the Vikings. But I expect Malik Neighbors to put up big numbers. Another game I'm excited for, the Raiders and the Chargers.
Give me the Raiders.
I'm going to take the Chargers. First game with
Big fan.
Harbaugh. Yes, sir.
Fake fan.
I think I'm a real fan because I know the Raiders are going to be bad. Broncos and Seahawks.
I'm going to say Seattle, but this game is going to be closer than a lot of people think.
I'm going to go with Seattle as well. They opened the season last year too, didn't they?
I think so, yeah.
That's fun. Dallas and
In
Cleveland.
Denver. I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to take Cleveland. CeeDee Lamb isn't playing. Yeah, I'm definitely going to take Cleveland.
Before I knew that CeeDee Lamb wasn't playing, I was picking Cleveland to win this game. Washington and Tampa Bay.
Give me Washington, baby.
I'm gonna take the Bucks. Ooh,
Jaden Daniels 500-yard game.
Oh, maybe this is the game I'm most excited for. Rams Detroit on Sunday Night Football.
Give me the Rams.
I think because of their defensive losses, I'm gonna take the Lions. And then on Monday Night Football, Jets 49ers.
Barring Aaron Rodgers' first play of the season doesn't re-tear an Achilles, the Jets. If he decides to,
I'm going to take the Niners, but I could see the Jets stealing that game if Rodgers plays the whole game.
I think this will be a real prove-it game for Brock Purdy at the beginning of the season, going up against our top-tier defense.
Yeah. The Niners are going to have to tear their team apart after this year, so.
Yeah.
Because they're paying Trent Williams, they're paying Ayuk, they're going to lose Debo. Because they can't pay Ayuk and Debo. And Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Even though Brock Purdy is literally the most system quarterback ever. You could fucking plug and place anyone in there.
I agree. I'm going to go with the Niners just because they're offensively and defensively, they're just so good. So, all right, those are our picks. And that concludes the first episode. Do you want to add anything, Ian?
I hope you fuck with us.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Otherwise we'll find you.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll DDoS you, literally.
Yeah.
Widowy gwittying.
Yeah, that's the first episode. We're gonna try to do these weekly. Feel free to remember, take it lightly, and remember that everything we talked about today is just our opinions. Obviously, we're not.
They're right. They're right.
They're correct opinions, but they are our opinions.
Yeah, if you want to get all pissy about it, sure, go ahead.
And there are correct opinions, and we don't really care if you disagree because you're wrong. So.
Agreed.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week. We hope you enjoy opening weekend of the NFL, kickoff weekend of the NFL, the best time of year. And yeah, Tyler signing off. Ian, you can say your final words.
The Ravens.
What did you say? Go Ravens.
Yeah, did the mic cut out? Yeah, I said go Ravens.
All right. Peace.